Here we go again. Here's our photo for today, and it's very Christmassy. That's probably how most British people would describe this picture. Very Christmassy. And that's really down to the decorations. Now, I was just asking you guys in the class about describing this photo. So, Michael, do you want to go first? If that's okay. You
Okay,
see,
okay.
can you actually, is it big enough first of all? Can you see anything? I can make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
And I see something. Uh, and
Okay.
and these pictures, yes, as you said, like you said before, it's old styled
Mm,
um room, or old style house. It's maybe rural or countryside.
yes.
Uh, I see the maybe it's dining room or
Mm,
kitchen because I see the stove with old-fashioned kettle on top of the
mm,
stove.
mm,
Also, I see some decoration. Maybe it's decoration, greenery, some
mm,
greenery on ceiling.
mm,
Um, in front, also I see the table. It's fancy table. The table is wooden table covered by white chalk,
mm,
and I see two candles and
mm.
some delicious food, maybe. Uh,
You've got very good eyesight.
what looks also it's dogs. I count one, two, three dogs. I see
Really? Okay.
maybe yeah, and on the table, on the table. No, no,
That
no.
table or this table?
Yes, yes. This
Ah, okay.
is it dog? It looks like
That's
uh,
yes,
also
yes.
like a place for pets, and I think it's also those three dogs. So this householder, oh, this family likes pets, dogs.
Mm.
Yes.
Yes, that's very good. Very good. I'll stop you there because maybe Christina, do you think you could describe something in this photo using your best English? I can scroll to the left, right, up, down. As there isn't much
Now,
left and right, it's mainly up and down actually.
describe. This is a sidewalk. I'm seeing they're antiquated.
Oh, you're very
Often.
quiet. Sorry, you're very quiet. Can you be a little
Oh,
bit closer to the microphone, maybe?
okay. Now it's better. Okay, I have a
Little.
voiceless. I am coughing. That's why my voice is weird. It's odd. That's
Okay.
why, not only mine. Anyway, I've seen in the corner, like in the shadow there, it's a table with three, four seats. Lovely, like round table. We have
Mm-hmm.
curtains. I don't know. It seems to be, yeah, no, there's no curtains.
No.
Oh,
Yes, there's
this
no
kind of
curtains.
ornaments, isn't it? This kind of ornaments. It's kind of, like horses with
Where
like
are
a
the
band.
ornaments?
Oh,
Where are?
yeah, like, yeah, well, if you're looking, in front, near the table, well, it's not near, it's above, you can
Ah,
see the ornaments there. Like, it's, yeah, exactly. You're showing perfectly. So this is a
okay.
shelves with ornaments. Like as far as I understand, I don't know if it is ornament. It's something like a picture. Or
Mm-hmm.
no, it's a curtain. It's a
Ah,
curtain. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's a curtain.
Because there's
It's
one
a
here
Christmas
too.
curtain.
There's one
Yes,
here too, and
Christmas.
there's one there.
Exactly, it's a
Okay, yeah.
Christmas curtain. Ah, well, this is on the table. We have seasoning stuff. We have like kind of flour. We have we have some glasses. Oh, what else?
Yeah.
No, I can't. can't recall what is everything. No, I mean, I can't see basically what is perfect. But yeah, this is something, like some ornament, something, like in terms of, like making better table accurate, more accurate, like decoration. I would say decoration or what. Two
Decorations, yeah.
candles, yeah, lovely two candles. You can see in the corner,
Oh,
because like,
those
they're
candles,
like,
okay.
yeah. And then what? There's full of decoration here.
Okay,
Oh, I
you've
see.
done very well. I'll have to stop you
Oh,
there because
oh,
Yoshi
there is a
has to have a go
star.
too.
Oh, Yoshi,
Hold on,
please. Yeah, please,
hold
Yoshi,
on.
please.
Yoshi will have to have a go. So well done. So Yoshi, it's your go. Could you describe the what you see here? So this is a sort of a typical, well, potentially a traditional, let's say a traditional Christmas scene
Mm-hmm.
in a Christmas home in Britain, in a home in Britain, which is at Christmas time. Over to you,
Okay.
Yoshi. Describe something if you can.
Yeah,
Do
it's
your best.
inside of a house, and I
Hmm.
see snow kitchen on the left with blue shelf, and yeah, it's a kitchen, and there's a dog next to the blue shelf. And also on the right side, there's a table, wooden table, and there's a vegetables. I think there's a vegetables on the table,
Hmm.
and also uh on the not roof, but on the upper side, there's hands
Hmm. Oh,
and like cooking tools on the hang on the wall, I think. And uh on the far side of the picture, there's a white table. No, I don't think it's white, but it's like, I think it's a wooden table. But there's a white tablecloth.
ah, hmm.
Tablecloth. I don't know how to say that. Yeah, like a white
Tablecloth. Tablecloth.
cloth, cloth,
Yes.
not cloth. Yeah, tablecloth.
Hmm.
And also, yeah, there's a four wooden chairs, and on the table there's candles and also some drinks
Hmm.
and many ornaments,
Yes.
many, yeah, detailed ornaments
Yes.
on the table. And behind the table there's a window,
Yes.
and yeah, and also uh yeah, next to the table there's candles and also some glasses, on the top of the shelf, and glasses. And
Up
yeah,
here, you mean?
there's a right up there,
Okay.
right, glasses. Yeah, I think it's basically it. There's a lot of other small, I don't know, tools or furnitures, glasses, or like cups and some pot, and also, I don't know, some bowls and stuff.
From the ceiling over here. Okay.
Yeah, on the ceiling, right. So
Yes.
it's
Well done.
there's tons of things here.
Well done. Yes. So yes, you all did very well actually. So if I try to go back from what Michael said, if I can remember. Um, so I think we said about the tablecloth, and you said about the decorations. So we might call, so in terms of Christmas decorations, all I can really see is this green foliage hanging from the ceiling. So if I scroll up a little bit, seeing a little bit more of it, because we didn't see the whole photo, there's is basically the main part of the decorations. It seems to me is to be these sort of green foliage, and that some people do this, put green, natural living green foliage around rooms. They sort of bring the outside inside. I think I know the Germans do that much more than the British. If you live in the city, you probably have something plastic, the plastic version of this. But if you're out in the country, obviously you have the option of doing the real stuff. And these, so let's think, what else? I can't remember what else we said. What else you said, Michael? But maybe I'll mention it other with some in general, so with others, I guess perhaps. So this red thing here, I think someone called it a curtain. I think it was Christina called it curtain. There's one here and there's one on the other window too. We'd probably call this a blind. A curtain tends to hang at the side where my cursor is, and you draw it into the middle. When it's at the top and you pull it down, often call that a blind. A blind. So curtains on the side, blinds tend to be from the top down. Okay, it's like detail really. So these implements up here, yeah, they are sort of kitchen tools, you would possibly say, but would also kitchen implements, possibly saucepans. This one here seems to have holes in it, so that could be a sieve or a slotted spoon. So a spoon with sort of holes in the bottom of it, so the water, hot water perhaps, might run through it when you're cooking something. This looks like a wok. This one looks a little bit like something like a wok or a frying pan. Probably more likely to be a frying pan, really. The others look like saucepans. And I can't see everything there. If I go slightly slower down. So yes, on this table over here. So this is being used as a table. This one here where my cursor is. There's also this round one in the middle. So these are two tables. But this one over on the side appears to be an antique. It just looks very old. Normally it's something that's an antique. It's something like over 100 years old. And the style here just looks incredibly old. But more than that, if you notice, it doesn't really look flat. There's a bit of a divot here. It goes down and then up. With this particular table, I would probably describe it as a bench. It's probably not fair to describe it as a table. It's basically a bench, but possibly even a butcher's bench. So we have butcher's shops where you might buy meat, and they might prepare the meat on a wooden table like this. Probably don't do that quite so often nowadays, but say 50 years ago it was normal, very common. But this particular one looks quite old. So this looks like a butcher's table where he would prepare the meat. And they've obviously just using it as a table. Hopefully they've cleaned it, I'm sure they have. And on it they have lots of vegetables. And these ones here where my cursor look like squashes. This looks like beetroot. And I think I see carrots and parsnips. Yes, two dogs down here. These two dogs look like greyhounds. It's a particular type of breed. Very gangly, very thin animal, very thin dog. But they're sort of bred that way to be very fast runners. They can run very fast. This blue thing here, it isn't really a table. It's actually, and someone did spot that, I think it was Christina spotted it. This is a cooker. This is where you might cook food and in fact keep food warm. This particular one looks like to be, and with that particular round little roundel there, I think this is what's called an auger. So this cooker looks like an auger. So in other words, this is thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars, to describe it in more detail, describe it in sort of American money. This is an incredibly expensive cooking cooker, you might say. And in fact, you probably not probably, but my understanding is normally you would put wood in here and you would set fire to the wood and you use the wood to cook the food. So this is a very traditional house, really. Any questions about this? But we'll move on to the actual article now, I think, in a minute. But any questions here? Did a fantastic job there, guys. These white things on the side, they're not really glasses. I would call them canisters. They might have rice in it, might have biscuits or ingredients for cooking in these little things here. Okay. Any questions? Do ask. Do ask. So there's lots, we could talk about this forever.
No, I said that in Italy we have the same, very similar. You have
very similar.
We have yeah, an antique bench, like you said, this is antique bench, side table, and yeah, similar. This is fully, as we are saying, this is a mixture, green and yellow. Yeah. But yes, you're perfectly right. The people in the city, like me, I have just only, like artificial stuff. But the people who are living in in the villages, they
Right.
do.
Just to
Yeah,
interrupt
there's
you, just to interrupt you,
natural. Thank
Christina.
you, Tim. Yeah,
Sorry to
so it's
interrupt,
similar.
Christina. Sorry to interrupt. We can only just about hear you. There's a lot of crackling on the line, and you're very quiet. You're also very
Oh,
quiet, Christina. So
oh, I saw.
we just move on.
Same in
Ah,
Italy. Very
we can
similar.
hear you now.
It's a mixture, but for like me in Milan where I'm living, I have everything artificial stuff. Of course, I have antique side bench. I have like cookery. I have siege. I have like saucepan and everything. But the foliage we have both green and yellow,
Okay.
but it's more artificial. We don't. The people who are
Ah.
living in villages, Italians who are living in the villages, they decorate their houses in general. The table in the kitchen with more natural. It's
Yes.
everything fully natural, no. But for us in the city, is everything artificial. So
Yes,
this is
very
a
true.
pity.
It's
What's a
exactly the
pity?
same in the UK, I think.
I'd rather be,
Sorry to
I
interrupt, Christina.
so thank you. Yeah.
Sorry to
Anyway.
interrupt. We'll have to press on because we're already halfway through the class. Okay, so everyone did very, very well there. Thank you very much. So we'll probably overrun as we always do. So if you can hold on for as long as you can, we'll probably carry on another hour, at least another hour from now. So stay if you can. So let me read a little bit to you. So Christmas decorations around the house. How to decorate outside the living room. So this article is from, let's quickly go back here. This article is from, here's the website. So houseandgarden.co.uk, there's the website. And then it says just below that, decorating for Christmas isn't just about trees and mantelpieces. Every room in the house deserves a bit of festive attention. And probably just a few days ago from House and Garden. So what's a mantelpiece? We know what trees are. So it's saying, well, decorating for Christmas isn't just about trees and mantelpieces. What's a mantelpiece? Anyone say? Anyone can tell me? There isn't one in the photo. There is not one in this photo anyway. I'll tell you what a
It's
mantelpiece is then. Okay.
it's fireplace.
Ah, yes. Yes, that's it.
Something.
That's it. It's basically to do with the fireplace. It's normally that piece directly above the fireplace. I think it might be possible to describe pieces along the side as part of the mantelpiece, but most people think of the piece across the top, the lintel, the large stone piece going across the fireplace. Lots of homes don't even have fireplaces nowadays. Okay, that's the same photo again. Okay, let me read a little bit and then I'll hand over to Michael. So let me read this little title here. So, Christmas decorations around the house. Callie Coes, that's someone's name, I guess. Callie Coes, Callie Coles, that's Coles, has brought lots of lovely seasonal foliage into her kitchen for a suitable rustic festive feel. So this presumably the kitchen that we're looking at must be Callie Coes' kitchen. When it says rustic, that word basically means of the country. You say something that looks rustic, you're saying it looks like it's from the country or the countryside. So you might say if someone is a rustic person, that means they come from the countryside, or they look as if they do come from the countryside. And then either the article or the photo is credited to Mark Anthony Fox. So Michael, are you okay to read this little bit here? Where it
Yeah.
starts with festive preparations. Over to you then. Thanks.
Okay. With festive preparations now well underway, many of us have already started decorating our Christmas trees and adorning our mantel mantelpieces with greenery. Living rooms are the natural focal point for our decoration efforts, as for most of us, this is where we'll be spending most of our time throughout December. And on the big day itself, it's where we hang stockings beside the chimney, ready for Father Christmas, open presents, and gather around with friends and family on dark winter evenings with the Christmas tree lights twinkling and the fire burning. But what about Christmas decoration around the house? The dining room where you will be enjoying your turkey with all the trimmings, the hallway where you'll be greeting any visitors, and even the bedrooms where you will all be waking up on Christmas morning. All of these spaces deserve that magical festive touch too. So we urge you not to neglect them.
Very, very good. Very, very good reading. Well done. I really couldn't really point very much out to you there. So is there anything you want to ask about? Good reading. Maybe the word adorning. I think that came up a couple of times. So your ing is a little bit weak, but we've mentioned that before, haven't we? I think with practice you'll get that eventually. So so
Yeah, I'm
so
here.
this word is adorning. Adorning. What does that mean, Michael? Adorning, any idea? You probably know, I think.
Uh, it's coming from adorning.
Can you think of another word to put in there? Or can you explain that word or define it for
Uh,
me?
um, we love, we pleasure, we like. Um, in this meaning, it's like
Hmm.
decorating. It's a synonym of decorating.
Okay, yeah, that's a reasonable way of putting it. Yeah, in this here you could say perhaps decorating, maybe. That's it. So, and decorating our mantelpieces with greenery. It does work, doesn't it? You put a decorating in there instead of this word. So, but another way of putting it, you could say, a simpler way of looking at it is just say this word sort of means on, to put on. But normally, when you say adorning, it's sort of to try to make beautiful, to try to make it more attractive, to put something on it to make it more attractive. You might adorn something in your hair. A lady might do that, I should say, to make herself look more beautiful or more attractive, so something like that. Or you might adorn something else to make it look more appealing in some way. Yes, it basically means put on to add to in some way. And if you think it's got add. So if you add something, that's sort of remind yourself a little bit about that. So yeah, that's it. Anything else you want to ask about? I raised that one, didn't I? But
Hmm. How, what's the on the big day itself? What does that refer to?
good question. So Michael, could you perhaps explain what that is there? So if I highlight it, it says, and
The
on
big
the
day
big,
itself, it's
mm,
yeah, the big day itself, it's meaning the New Year's Eve or the Christmas day. Yeah,
mm,
it's the morning after, or this day or
mm.
Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
that's pretty much it, I would say, yes. But for British people, particularly, I would say when they say the big day itself, they're talking about December the 25th. So the big day means one particular day. So it's not so much a time of year, so like a week or a month or something. In this case here, this sentence, it's one particular day. That's it.
Christmas.
That's it. So another one, Michael. So it says your turkey with all the trimmings. Now that's a very every single British person would know what that means, or at least have an idea of what they think it means. So, Michael, what do you think that means then? What is it talking about? Turkey with all
I-
the trimmings.
with some spices,
Ah,
seasonings,
okay.
maybe.
Which sort of spices? Anything more detailed? So you could be sort of a little bit there, but a bit more. So Turkey with
Turkey,
all.
it's
Mm.
in Turkey, it's dish is meat. It's
Oh yeah, yeah. So Turkey is meat. What meat in
yeah,
particular is it?
it's di in medical. It's
Medical.
dietical, very good meat uh, for people who have some disorders, digestive system.
So if you're ill, Turkey's very good for
Yeah,
you.
because it's meat
Okay.
without fat. It's
Ah,
like
yes, that's very true. It can be, yeah, that's true.
dietical. I don't know how it's explained.
Mm,
Dietical meat.
dietical.
So yeah,
So I think British people would say it's white. It can be white meat. It's
white.
poultry, which means it's from a
Yeah,
bird. So
yeah.
the turkey is a bird, and in this case, obviously, it's cooked. And I would say most British people, not traditionally, British people have turkey at Christmas time. But then again, people get bored of it, and so they say, "Oh, this year we'll have something else, and maybe we'll have turkey next year." So a lot of people think about having turkey, and they wouldn't at Christmas time, but they wouldn't have it other times of the year. So it's almost like the only time in the year when they might eat turkey. But at the same time, some people don't like it, so they have something else. So but so just to interrupt a little bit further, so turkey with all the trimmings is a little bit of a saying, a bit of a sort of an idiom, I suppose, in a way. But the trimmings bit means all the other things that we normally have with the turkey, being the Christmas meal that we would as it
Mm.
would normally have. So the trimmings might be spices, but that might be one little detail. And some people don't like spices, of course. So for you, or some people, it might be spices. But for a lot of people, it might be the stuffing that goes inside the turkey. That's normally very often sage and onion stuffing. This is the classic or traditional one, I would say. But there's lots of varieties. Other people like other things, don't they? That's one of the trimmings. Another one might be having Brussels sprouts, boiled Brussels sprouts with your turkey, or roast potatoes, or mashed potatoes, or carrots, or swede, a whole series of different things. So for different people, it might mean other different things. For one family, it might mean, oh, we always do it this way. Another family might be something else. So it's not really clear exactly what all the trimmings are, but it's a whole bunch of different things. Okay. So anything else from anyone else? I mean, from Michael, I should say. Then maybe I'll do everyone if it's okay. Um,
So trimming is like the
yeah.
side dish or like all the decorative meals around turkey, kind of.
Not really. Yes, and sort of not really. So in this particular case, we're talking about the turkey itself, and then they add on with all the trimmings. So it's the turkey with all the trimmings. So most people would have turkey on Christmas Day, and they might have it the following day as well, or they might just have it for the one day. So it would be really just that one meal in a whole year,
Mm-hmm.
potentially. So the trimmings are all the other things, like the Brussels sprouts, the potatoes, the other vegetables.
Uh,
Often, normally, a particular way that they're done. Oh, at Christmas time, we fry the broccoli or something, or maybe you wouldn't normally fry broccoli, but you might have roast potatoes, and you might not have them
mhm, mhm,
for the rest of the year, but you have them particularly at Christmas time. So it's something special at Christmas, normally anyway, but different
mhm.
for different families, I would say. So different families would do different things.
All right.
So Michael again, there's a little line here. It says, "It's where we hang stockings beside the Christmas, sorry, beside the chimney, ready for Father Christmas." So can you explain that little bit there? Do you understand that a little bit there? Yeah, I think you probably do.
Yeah, it's pretty common in
Mm.
British and in American. Also, it's they hang socks or stocking socks on the fireplace or chimneys. We understand what is it, and Father Christmas go inside the house through the chimney and leave the present under the trees, Christmas trees. So,
Yes.
or in this socks, or leave there some present in these socks. So usually,
yeah,
people.
So just to into a little bit more detail. So now I've looked up stockings and I've got ladies' underwear. So what's ladies' underwear got to do with
No,
Father Christmas and?
no.
Okay.
It's particularly like socks. It's type of
Socks. You did say
socks.
socks actually. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, socks. Yeah, and for each member of family,
Yes.
usually people hang socks with
Yes.
name
That's it.
of
Yeah,
members.
that's it. That's spot on. That's it.
And
Yes.
in the morning, they find some present
That's it. Yes.
inside these socks.
So that you have it spot on. That's exactly it. So there is a tradition, definitely in Britain and I guess in America and probably other places too, that Christmas Eve you hang up your stockings. The children would do this normally, but I guess adults can do it too. And when they say children will hang up their stockings, the stockings really is an old name for socks. They were called stockings back in perhaps Victorian times. Men would wear them, boys, children would wear them, but it's really referring to socks. We would say socks nowadays. But traditionally it was always stockings, and that's really that idea or that word has always stuck. And we always talk about stockings at Christmas time for some reason. And it's not particularly ladies' underwear. So it's just sort of woolen socks, big woolen socks, really. That's what it is. So well done, Michael. Very good. Let me read the first bit back, the first chunk back. There might be something, it might remind me of something that when happened we were going there. So here we go. I'll read a bit here. So with festive preparations now well underway, many of us have already started decorating our Christmas trees and adorning our mantelpieces with greenery. Living rooms are the natural focal point of our decorative efforts, as for most of us, this is where we will be spending most of our time throughout December and on the big day itself. It's where we hang stockings beside the chimney ready for Father Christmas, opening presents and gather round with friends and family on dark winter evenings with the Christmas tree lights twinkling and the fire burning. This is very beautiful, but very, very few families, I think, would have everything listed here. Not that many families nowadays have a real fire burning. They might have an electric fire or perhaps a pretend fire. Most houses probably don't have chimneys. So there's lots of detail. This is an ideal and very idealized sort of picture, but most people wouldn't be able to do most of these things in Britain anyway. So any other questions from anybody? Any other questions from anyone? So it will be over to Christina. You were next, I think, weren't you? So are you ready to have a go, Christina, to read a little bit here? Your sound was a bit, you were breaking up quite a bit. So we might have to see how it goes. Christina?
So where we are.
Yes, we're at the top of the page.
Okay,
And it
perhaps
says
you've
where it
got
says that's it. Perhaps you've got mantelpieces. That's it. From there.
mantelpiece as well in the house that could benefit from a beautiful garland or some lights. or a banister that can be adorned in all sorts of creative and clever ways. Even kitchens and bathrooms can be brought to life in this time of year with the addition of some seasonal greenery, lights, and candles. However big or small you want to go with Christmas decorations around the house, they are bound to leave you and your guests feeling very merry indeed. To help inspire your festive forays, we have gathered some of our favorite examples from the house and garden achieves. I will stop here because my voice is a little bit really odd. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, you
yeah,
came to the end anyway. That's it.
from the house and garden,
That's
are
it.
here. So yeah,
Yes, I didn't realize you had some trouble with your voice, but you did very well. So
yeah,
with pronunciation, I would perhaps highlight it again. It was very good. So I don't. I'm sort of just pointing out very small details.
yeah,
So I think here, when you got here, you said something like beautiful garland or some lights. So with this
yeah.
word here, we just say garland, garland. So I think you sort of said garland. So you made it sort of very clearly two separate sounding words, I would say. But we normally say it's garland, garland. So I read a little bit
Mhm.
again for you. So beautiful garland or some lights. That's a little bit there. Another bit was the word adorned just there. So we say adorned, adorned. Okay,
Adorned, yeah,
adorned.
adorned.
So I read it again for you. There's a few words there. So can be adorned in all sorts of creative and clever ways. Adorned.
Adorned.
That's it. That's
Mm.
very good overall, I would say. And then there was the word brought. I think that one there.
Broad. Oh, can be
Yeah.
broad.
So
Oh,
let me just read that half a sentence. So maybe you could reread that half a sentence again. If I read it to you, just to start
then
with,
the
and it's mainly the
broad.
word brought you had trouble with, I
Yes,
say.
it's
But it was very
broad.
good still. So I'll read it to you first of all. So even kitchens and bathrooms can be brought to life at this time of year with the addition of some seasonal greenery. So can be brought to life. Brought. Brought.
Broad,
So
broad to life.
okay. Do you want to try that
Okay.
sentence again? You'll go.
Okay. Even kitchens and bathrooms can be brought to light in all the time of year with the addition of some seasonal
Yes.
greenery.
That's it. That's great. Yes. So just that word again. So when you your B and your R sounds quite good when you're saying it. And
Yeah.
when you come to this bit here, which is slightly tricky, I suppose, when you look at it, because it's not obvious it makes this sound. You just have to remember it that it makes that sound really. You're a bit too heavy at the beginning of this, the where you get to the OU bit. You're just a bit too heavy in your voice. You give a bit too much emphasis this bit here. So with the whole word, I would say it as well. Let's try and include these other words just around it to get the flow of it. Can be brought to, can be brought to, can be brought to,
Can be
brought,
brought
brought.
to, can be
Okay.
brought to.
So you're giving emphasis to the ought, this first part of the ought bit. If anything, I think the emphasis at the beginning, maybe. I'm not sure really, but okay. Let's just check that word out in the dictionary, actually. Let's pop it into the dictionary. So perchance is already there. Perchance means like, could actually mean maybe or by accident. So brought. So here we go. So brought is the past tense of and past participle of bring. So it's past of bring basically. Let's listen to them.
Brought,
Yeah, maybe.
brought,
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is
Brought.
perhaps a bit of emphasis here, but I guess I think you're overdoing it a little bit, I would say. So do you want to
Yeah.
try it once more? So brought, over to you.
She said broad. Broad. So this was the accent.
Try listen again. I'll play it again for you.
brought,
Brought. I would say brought.
Broad. Broad.
Okay. Okay. That's the American version down there. Okay, we'll leave that then.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's think, what else was there? So, and maybe then the word further down here. So I think it was the sound at the end of this word where my cursor is.
Gathered. Gathered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't really say it like exactly that. So if
No,
I've just highlighted the first part of the word, so that's gather. That's gather. Do you want to say that a little bit there? Gather.
gather.
Yeah, that's
Gather.
pretty good. Gather. And when we put the ed on the end, put it in the past tense or whatever, we say gathered. Gathered.
Gathered. Gathered. Yeah, you're dropping her. You're dropping
Yeah,
her.
pretty
Gather.
much, yes. Maybe the Americans, you may hear the Americans do the R a little bit, but
Suave, maybe R, but yeah, gathered. You said gathered. Yeah, it's true.
we never really say. I
Yeah.
don't think even the Americans would quite say gathered. No, it's more just simply gathered. So it's just a
Gathered.
sort of a d sound on the end. Gathered.
Anyway.
Yeah, that was a very good reading, and really, I'm just picking out small details, to be honest.
Yeah, appreciate it a lot.
Very good.
Thank you.
So, any questions? Any other things you want to bring out, Christina?
No, unknown words or something that I don't know. No, it's everything clear for me, at least.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is garland? Or what is a beautiful garland? What is that? We talked
Garland.
About.
Yeah, this is a decoration. That's a garland. Yeah, it's like, beautiful garland. It's a decoration, isn't it?
Part of something to do with Christmas decorations. Okay, so I've quickly searched it. Here's some. Yeah, these little greenery pieces here. Now, these particular ones look plastic to me. Yeah, that's a garland.
Yeah.
Or swag, maybe even a swag, that sort of shape.
Could be swag, yeah, but it's a decoration. Yeah, God, yeah.
I've clicked on photos. Classic Christmas garlands here. That's it.
Yes, exactly. You can put everywhere. You can put on your stairs. You can put in. Like I've put it some candles near my like entrance. On the entrance door. So some decorations.
That's a good place to put it, isn't it? So everyone will see it there. You'll see it there when you're coming and going. That's a good place.
Stairs, or maybe I don't know. Where is the cookery? If you like it. Yeah.
So here's a fireplace, and where my cursor is, this is what most people would describe as the mantelpiece. This large piece of stone going across the top of the fire. Some might include these side pieces too, but most people wouldn't. They talk about just the top as being the mantelpiece.
Yes.
Okay. So any questions from anyone else? Otherwise, we'll scroll straight on to Yoshi. If that's okay. Any other questions?
It's everything clear. Thank you for.
Also, anybody, what are forays? And here it says, to help inspire your festive forays.
Well,
forays. What is that?
Forays. It's in like. Yeah, you're obtaining something, a raid, no, could be a sudden attack or, incursion into something.
Yes, in fighting, you might talk about that. That's true. In a battle or something, you might do.
Forbidden, no, you could go on a foray, it's something that is, like you
foray.
This is more like, it's a raid, it's an attack, no?
Potentially, yes. But at Christmas time, hopefully it won't be that. So let me just read this too then. So if you make a foray into a new or unfamiliar type of activity, you start to become involved in it. That's a foray into a new thing. There's obviously other meanings too. So it's a journey. So they say a raid, a sally, incursion. So these are all slightly military or battling sort of ideas.
It's a bombardment, no foray, it's a bombardment, no, somehow.
A foray. Yeah. So yeah, but there is also the idea it doesn't have to be battle, it could be any sort of a going somewhere. Here it says a short journey. That's a good way of talking about it, a short journey. You refer to a short journey. But there is the military side to it as well. or battling
Yeah,
side
but
of it.
it's more like, yeah, make or go somewhere, but also it's like as I said, a raid or yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Christina. So it's over to you, Yoshi. Another
Sure, I have
photo.
one other question. What
Oh,
is
yes.
banister?
What is what, sorry?
Banister?
Ah, banister. That's in this. I didn't I didn't notice that even. The banister is something to do with the staircase. Oh, there we go. Banister. Yeah, there we are. Yes.
Yeah.
So when you go up and down the stairs, you would normally hold on to the banister so you don't
Ah,
fall down the
okay.
stairs or fall up the stairs even. So it's that handrail effectively.
Okay. Andre, okay.
Let's say that. But it's particularly do with stairs. You wouldn't really have, you don't have a banister anywhere else. It's just on the stairs. That's the only place it's used
Hmm.
as far as I'm aware. Lovely
All
photos.
right.
I think the photos must be down to Mark Anthony Fox. So well done, they're very good. Okay, so let me just read a little bit there. So at Callie Coles's, so I said Callie Coles's because it's an apostrophe up there, charming Devon house, where a menagerie of animals live alongside Callie and her family. Even the chickens in the boot room, have been treated to some mistletoe. Such a simple but thoroughly charming idea you can copy at home, minus the birds, presumably. So it says minus the birds. It's because she has chickens in her house for some reason, or in the boot room. So anyone know what a menagerie is? Or perhaps I should say, Yoshi, do you know what a menagerie is? What's a menagerie? Any idea? Where a menagerie of animals
Menagerie.
live alongside Callie and her family. Menagerie.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. So it's sort of, you might say almost like a zoo. And I think it actually was the old word for a zoo, I think, at one time in the past.
Oh.
So, but it's a sort of an eclectic collection
Hmm.
of, in this case, animals. And normally it's always animals, actually. There we go. But I suppose possibly it gets used a little bit more in a literary sense
Mm-hmm.
nowadays rather than just in everyday speech. Wow, another photo there. So just try and find a continuous piece of text for you. Okay, it looks like you might have to read the text under a whole bunch of different articles. Um, oh. Do you fancy going back to the very top again and read from the very top? Is that okay? So we had that
Yeah,
photo. Let
sure.
me go from
Okay.
the very top again. So that describes the photo at the very top. That's the person who took the photo. So this little bit here, it
Okay.
says with festive preparations. So you'll go again then.
With festive preparations now well underway, many of us have already started decorating our Christmas trees and adorning our mantelpieces with greenery. Living rooms are new, not neutral.
Hmm.
Living rooms are natural focal point for our decorative efforts, as for most of us, this is where we'll be spending most of our time throughout December and on the big day itself. It's where we hang stockings beside a chimney, ready for Father Christmas. Open presents and gather around with friends and family on dark winter evenings with the Christmas tree lights twinkling and the fire burning. But what about Christmas decorations around the house? The dining room where you will be enjoying your turkey with all the trimmings. The hallway where you'll be greeting any visitors, and even the bedrooms where you'll be all be waking up on Christmas morning. All these spaces deserve that magical festive touch too. So we urge you not to neglect them.
Mm, very good. Well done. Very good. So, do you have any questions again about this piece here that
We
weren't
already
answered the
covered
first time?
yeah, we already covered
Yes,
this
I
part,
know,
so I
I know.
think
I'm
I'm
being
okay.
sort of funny, being sarcastic, I guess. So, any words you want to go back over again where you think you're a little bit rusty on, need a little bit extra help, or not too sure if you're pronouncing it correctly?
Uh, yeah, I already asked
Hmm.
you
Yes.
all the questions already, so I think I'm okay.
Okay, that's good. No, no, it is very good, actually. Very good. I have to say, it's very good. So the only perhaps one, maybe just one word, really. So I think with this word here, you said it's something like this. I heard efforts, efforts.
Efforts.
That's what you were. That's what I heard you say. But I don't think Americans or Brits would say it that way. So if I just pick up those three words, perhaps.
Efforts. I don't know. Efforts.
No,
Efforts.
we don't say it that way, I would say. So if I just say it for you, so but that's what I heard you say. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
decorative efforts as so efforts.
Efforts. Efforts.
Yeah, effort. That's what I would say. But
Okay.
let's pop it into the dictionary and see just listen to the American way. 'Cause I'm not quite sure how the might want to take the S off, I think. So I've hit search. It's taken the S off for me. So effort. I would say effort. What do they say?
effort,
Yeah, effort. And it's the
Effort.
um let's try again.
effort,
Effort.
Effort.
Yeah. I'd say that's the British way, but a lot of your pronunciation is I would say American. So
Yeah.
it makes more sense to listen to the American way. Let's listen to the Americans. Effort. I can't even copy. I can't even read that.
effort,
Effort. Yeah.
Effort.
effort,
Effort.
Once more, Shoshi.
E- Effort.
effort,
Yeah, I think that's pretty good, I would say. So
Effort.
yeah, effort. Yeah.
Yeah, it's American was a little bit easier to me actually.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let me try to get it myself actually. So
effort,
effort.
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 effort,
Yeah. Okay. So so I suppose with effort, there's the idea of it puts a certain amount of work into it. There's some amount of work, isn't it, with effort? It's not easy normally. If something takes effort, it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be a small amount of effort at the same time. So the British
Mm-hmm.
do say it slightly different, I would say, on the whole. So let's think. Anything else there? So there was effort. Actually, I really
Mm,
liked how you said this bit down here. So actually, the whole of this last section, I suppose by the end, you got a certain confidence with it. When I first dump you into the dump you into this or read this, it's quite tricky. But by the end, you definitely had a lot of confidence. And I thought you read the
mm,
end extremely well. With this last piece here, there's the, I thought you gave the feeling over very, very well. And I would say, in fact, there's only one full stop at the very end there. And your timing and the way you did it, I thought was brilliant, in fact. If you ignore these three full stops, which aren't really full stops. Um, I think it did brilliantly. So when you came to the commas, you had the right sort of tone,
mm,
because it's almost listing different things, and you put the right tone on your voice. It was very good. And from the very beginning, actually, when you start with the word but, and your timing was very good, I thought, very good. You had the right cadence, right rhythm, very good.
thank you. I have no idea about that.
So what I'm really saying, you've naturally got a skill, or getting the skill, I should say, about and how to read how to read English really.
Mm,
And there were certain places I can't remember which one it was when you came to the word the or the, perhaps particularly this one here. You were so fluent, you truncated the sound of this down to a much shorter sound. So it wasn't actually the word the or the. You didn't say either of those words. It was more of a t, And that's really what a lot of British people say. I'm not sure about the Americans, but yes, I think that is true. So, especially with the, it's so common, it's immediately above there, and it's probably in every line pretty much, isn't it? There's another the there. So these words, that particular word, lots of these small little words do get truncated, and you are truncating it down to sort of a t sort of a sound. You certainly weren't saying the or the. Some of them you probably did, but not all of them. I can't remember exactly. So well done. So you've learned perhaps by imitation from hearing it. So you're picking up lots and lots of details there. Well done. So
Maybe.
maybe. Well, you probably I think you're better than you feel you are. I think you're doing better than you feel you're doing. So praise yourself when you finish. You have done quite well.
Thank you.
You're not sure how, but you have done quite well. So as I said, so it was the timing of the words, the rhythm, and particularly when it came to all of the commas, you 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 gave the sense that you're giving a list of different things, which is really what this is. It's describing different things about Christmas, but quickly, one after another, without full stops. And you gave over the correct sense and the feeling of it. And you truncated several words, and it really added to the feel of it. So in a way, all the words, all the alls and all the thers, they sort of get in the way of the meaning in a sense. The real meaning, you could say, a lot of the meaning is in the word, say, turkey and visitors. These are the important words, and Christmas, and the ands and the thers are sort of just happen to connect it all together, but they're sort of in the way. They're sort of extraneous. They're not vital, you might say. And you sort of gave emphasis to all the right words. So well done. You're doing it sort of naturally. Perhaps you're not aware of it, maybe, but you are. Well done. Okay.
Thank
Any
you.
questions from anybody? If yes.
I'm okay.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So maybe to end off with then. So in Britain we celebrate Christmas, and lots of places in Europe. I guess it's a Christian festival, isn't it? So anyone celebrate Christmas and then not Christian or not in a Christian country?
We kind of celebrate Christmas, but I'm not officially Christian, but it's most likely the stores and all the department stores and supermarket, they all do some Christmas stuff. So we're kind of buying cake and imitate the customs of Christmas in other countries. But I think most of the people, I'll say 70 or 80% of the people who do Christmas customs are not actually Christian in Japan, I guess. But we do that anyway.
That's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, I think nowadays many countries secularized this big day, so and celebrated them. For example, in my country, I'm not to religion people. Yeah, I Christian, but I am not visiting churches on Sundays, but we celebrate this holiday.
So when you say celebrate, in what way do you celebrate it then? How do you celebrate it? By doing what? If you don't mind me asking.
With all traditional food, with all traditional Christmas tree,
and decorations.
Yeah, decoration, garlands. We we installed yet.
They're to
we,
be
we,
installed yet. Yeah.
we installed yet Christmas tree and chimney, not chimney or fireplace, carton fireplace. So we decorated our apartment.
Yes, you've done all your
Yeah,
decorations
yeah,
already.
yeah,
I've got
yeah.
you.
Already. Yeah. So
So have you used green plastic, or have you used natural greenery in anywhere around your
you
house or
know
home?
now now we use plastic.
Yes,
And
most
yes,
do.
and plastic Christmas tree also
Yes.
artificial. But maybe 5 years ago, I I bought I tried to bought the Christmas tree, but
Hmm.
in my region it's usually it's pine tree,
A real pine tree. I've got you. Yes.
pine tree. But it's mm, it's it's far more easier have the artificial tree,
Mm.
and it's you spend less few money, and you keep the wood uh, from you keep the nature.
Yes. So if it's a natural tree, it has to be cut down, and you're sort
Yeah.
of killing a tree pretty much, aren't you?
Yes,
Normally,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
that's it. So you're preserving a tree. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And some people do this illegal, in forest. So it's also additional damage for nature.
Yeah, okay,
So
that's true. As whereas with the plastic one, you can use the same tree next year and the year after, and for however long you want to keep it. That's it.
yeah, yeah. Of course, when you have the Christmas tree alive, I don't know how it's real Christmas tree. Of course, it's you can feel the smell of this pine or the smell of this tree. Yes, of course, it's
Yes.
absolutely different feelings, but this uh, case also, this case, I mean, with artificial tree, also good. And for modern life, I think it's better way. Or if you live in the, for example, countryside, or if you live in the house, you can plant it some, you know, uh, trees.
Yes, yes. That's true. Some people in the UK have a tree outside, and it may look like a Christmas tree, or it may actually be an old Christmas tree from 20 years ago, and they've planted it, and they put the Christmas decorations on the tree on the outside. A lot of British families like to put decorations on the outside of their house, a big Santa Claus or big
Or
reindeer or snow or something. Yes, that's true.
or now I also saw
Hmm.
last year, or I've seen, I don't know, the Christmas tree sells in big ways, in huge ways, like a live tree,
A
a
live
live
tree, yes.
a live tree or pine or Christmas tree in big ways with ground with
What do you mean by big ways? Big
vase,
ways?
vase, vase,
Oh,
vase,
big
vase.
oh yes, we say vase. The Americans say vase. British say vase. It probably wouldn't be a vase. We'd say perhaps like a big pot.
Big pot or bowl or
Pot,
no,
yes,
big
that's it.
big pot or
Yeah. Suitable for a tree. We might describe it like that. A large pot suitable for a tree. I say.
Yeah, like pot for some, house flowers, so it's
Yes,
big,
but a
big
huge
pot
one for
for
a tree.
huge, yes, and it's also, I think it's a good decision, if you have some yard, for example, near your house, you can keep this tree in this pot outside and
Hmm.
planting, planting them, planting it.
Hmm.
Keep it
Yes, thank you very much. That's very good. In this photo here, these round sort of swags or festive foliage, you would call that a wreath. If it's circular, you call it a wreath. Often you'd say a wreath, you might see wreaths at a funeral, but at Christmas, you would also see them at Christmas time celebrating Christmas. So one's very happy, one's very sad. So these round ones are called wreaths. Wreaths. So Wreath. Plural with an S on it too, if there's more than one. Okay. Oh, the bathroom. So their bathroom has some foliage. In particular, so it is green foliage, but looking at it, to me, this looks like mistletoe. And the tradition is, if there's mistletoe above your head and you're with somebody else, you have to kiss them. So the
it's
idea is you kiss someone below the mistletoe, and that's probably in many a song. Yeah.
how
Someone want to add something?
we
Yeah.
call it amela.
Amela. Interesting. It looks like mistletoe to me. So what's your word again? Amela.
Amela, yeah.
Amela. Okay.
White amela.
Yeah, I think there's a white berry, and we can't easily see the berries, but we just see the green of it here, a big mass of it. And traditionally, people do bring in mistletoe at Christmas time, and I think as a consequence, sometimes some people have said people are cutting down all the mistletoe. Be careful, we're running out of mistletoe. It's going to die out in a sense. Yeah. So with both, pretty much all of these photos, they're very idealistic, and very few people would have all of these things. They may have just one of them, and the homes seem very large and very wealthy, I would say, on the whole. So any questions about any of these photos we've been looking at? Is it very beautiful homes, of course, aren't they?
If it's live,
Oh,
if
wow.
it's live
Is it
greenery,
real, you mean?
real greenery,
I think with
you
I think here is that particular piece. I don't think it is up above. Maybe it is, but oh, this looks like dried flowers up here or dried greenery. So from last year maybe because it's very grey and brown or brown looking, I should say. This looks like a
it
plant in the window. Often where there's a window, we might grow a plant on the window sill, and we water it perhaps daily or weekly, whatever it requires. This is fantastic. I love that. So this appears to be a sash window. Most people in the UK don't have sash windows. So with a sash window, it's normally wooden, traditionally be wooden. And so there's two panels. There's this panel up here, and down below is another one. And these can both slide up and down. And right here where my cursor is the catch, and it sort of locks the two panels or the two windows together. Obviously, the bottom one you would pull up to let air in, and you can also pull the bottom one down. But often they're cleverly linked up with a piece of rope between the two. So as you pull one up or down, it moves the other one in the other direction. So it seemed clever to the designers, but I've never been able to properly use them or make good use of them personally. So this looks like a sash window in particular, a sash window. Well,
yeah, very
thanks
small piece.
everybody for coming. I think what we'll do is now we'll just stop the recording at this point and we can carry on chatting if you want. So I've just got trying to find the stop button. Oh, I think Christina's gone. So thank you, Christina. Bye bye. So